What's good, Ja? You already know what it is, man. This is T Paris, aka the Young Marvin Gaye. This rap shit, most original, most creative, most in tune with the times, and I'm sort of like your inspiration. And this is P's Perspective. But let's not waste no time. Let's get right into it. This week I wanted to do something different, man. I know last week I told y'all we was gonna focus on single parent moms, but as I was doing my research, what I stumbled upon is like I just feel like society doesn't really have as much information about women as I would like. I was kind of looking for information that would kind of like express how important women have been just to our society, to our culture on the whole. And I was having a hard time doing that. And then it just dawned on me like, everything doesn't have to be about research and Google and YouTube. I just speak from the heart. This is a round table discussion, right? So for me, something that was important and it was just kind of like on my brain was how last week we had a brain teaser, icebreaker, and I asked the question, who missed their dad, who missed their father, and the responses was overwhelming, right? And then this morning I spoke about our moms and just some of the things about mothers that we remember. And I found it kind of odd that when we spoke about dads, the responses was so overwhelming, and we spoke about moms, it wasn't really a lot of chiming in. But what I gathered from that is this: in society, we have become so complacent with the role of the black woman or the woman of color that we have a hard time in building them up and showing them respect and showing them how well we appreciate them. You understand what I'm saying? Like, just think about that for a second. Because a lot of people have grown at home with mom. They spend time around mom. But when it's time to big mom up, it's almost like we take it for granted. Everybody ran to tell their story about daddy and how he made them feel. And a lot of times I think that's because you want to admit that the relationship between mom and dad wasn't so great, but you do see where mom was kind of to blame for that. But now when it's talk about bigging the woman up, because so many women have been responsible for the plight of a black man, we seem so silent. And I'm not really understanding that. Myself, I grew up without my mom. So at any given moment, I take advantage of talking about that situation because I want to understand why. Why she didn't want to be there for me. But I'm kind of confused as to why we don't want to see, the black woman praised, put on a pedestal, talked about like that's the most beautiful creation man has ever made. Just speaking as a man, when I'm out there running around doing whatever I'm doing, the greatest feeling in the world other than, getting a hug and being told I love you by my daughter is being held and told that I love you by my woman. And as a man, I just think that it's important that we start to show these women a lot more respect. You think about it, man. When you going through the things that you going through, 9 times out of 10 it's a woman that could make you feel better. You stand on that corner all day, drink, smoke, snap, crack jokes. But when you come home, you expect that woman to treat you like a king, rub your back, you know what I'm saying, make your plate, run the bath water, make love to you, you know what I'm saying? But as men, what are we doing to deserve this type of affection? And let's be honest with ourselves. Like, what are we doing to make our women feel appreciated? I'm going to just speak for myself, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to be honest. A lot of times, I look at the woman like she there for me. Like you there to be at my beckoning and call. And that's my own arrogance and cockiness. But when I sit down in my most humble form, I know it was my grandmother that made me the man that I am today. Instilled those principles in me, those morals, to let me know You handsome, you know what I'm saying? You gonna be special. You're gonna be somebody. It wasn't my dad that was doing it. It wasn't my grandfather. It wasn't my friends. It was my grandmother. And so I question why when we out here and we talk about our women, we tend to forget these things. You know, we call them bitches and hoes. And, you know, we want them to freak off in ways that we wouldn't accept our daughters doing that. We wouldn't accept our moms doing that, our sisters, and none of that. Y'all understand what I'm saying, fellas? Like, I'm really trying to tap into what's real right now. Like, forget the research, you know what I'm saying? Forget about taking sides. Let's just talk about what's real. You know, what is it going to take for us to start to appreciate the black woman? Because believe it or not, that's the backbone of the black family. When I go out and I get my hair cut, get my beard shaped up, my braids done, I throw on this nice polo and True Religion, I get that Yankee fitted. I'm not doing it for my fellas. I'm not doing it for my brothers to be standing out there like, yo, you fly. You know, I'm hoping that as I'm moving and grooving, you know what I'm saying, one of these nice young ladies will let me know, you looking good today, brother. You know what I'm saying? Or when I'm out here and I'm telling my story, you know, one of these women to take the time to say, you know, I feel the pain in your story. I'm not doing it for one of my brothers to be like, yo, I feel you. And I think that as men, we need to take the time and recognize that, man. When I did the icebreaker this morning, I put up the Tupac video. And for me, that video was so powerful because it was a line in the song where he said, and even as a black queen, even as a crack fiend, mama, you always was a black queen, mama. And to me, what that was saying is like, even at your worst point, you were still a queen. You were still the most powerful entity in my life. And I just think that we need to get back to that. You know, we need to treat our women like queens. You know, you don't want nobody out there disrespecting your daughter, disrespecting your sister, disrespecting your mother. So when you interact with your female, your woman, I want you to think the same way. You know, I could have took this moment to talk about, you know, the women out there that do good by the kids, you know. But it's so many women that do good by the kids. That's the everyday story. But it's so many of us men that don't appreciate that. And I'm kind of just, you know, kind of like telling the men, pull your pants up, man. Tie your sneakers, man. You know what I'm saying? It's time for us to get focused. And it's time for us to pay attention to the value of the black woman. You know, a lot of times the stuff that we out there running around doing is to impress a woman. And if you already got a black woman by your side, you already know you got one of the strongest foundations known to man. So why not nurture it? Why not harvest it? You know, why not treat it like you would want your sister or your mom to be treated? That's really the only way that as a black family we're gonna overcome some of the struggle that we're going through. You know, as men, we powerful already, physically, mentally. You know, we've been going through this forever. But it's our women that tend not to know their place in society. And it's up to us to help them fit in and know where they belong at. You know? I just want y'all to think about this for a second. There was a point in time where the black woman was fighting just to be heard, just to be recognized. And we as men have failed so many times that now you see the black woman out there trying to be the head of the household. They want to be independent. They want to prove that they could do it without us. That's crazy if you ask me. You know, it's almost like they're looking at a world where it's women and no men. Just think about how that might work. You know? And I think the best solution is for us as men to take some time to start to appreciate our women, respect our women, build up our women, support our women. Let them know you love them. Let them know you care about them. And it's the T Paris, man. Peace, perspective. Toast to the time.